Del Rio, Texas 1955. Colonel Robert Willingham, taking part of a team performing an aerial exercise, noted the explosion of a ball of light brighter than a star, which crossed the sky at full speed. With growing curiosity, Willingham observed the object until it curved 90 degrees to the south. The pilot got permission to investigate and chased after him, following the UFO towards the Rio Grande, where a few moments later, it vibrated and fell from the sky, crashing into Mexican territory. Back at the base, Willingham asked for the help of a colleague, and they flew together to the site of the impact, aboard a small training aircraft. There they find the Mexican army that was examining a silver disc stuck in the ground. Looking through a hole in the hull, Willingham was surprised to see the bodies of 3 aliens. The Mexicans asked the Americans to leave, but before doing so, the pilot picked up a piece of debris from the hull and hid it in his suit.
If we start using a technology of 10,000, 100,000 or even 1 million years far in the future, and maybe start playing with it, unaware of its potential, a very dangerous scenario could emerge.
Back at the Fort Worth base, Willingham examined the fragment. Its interior had a honeycomb structure, but the metal is stronger than steel. His attempts to cut it with a blowtorch had no effect. The fragment does not resemble any of the metals that Willingham has seen before. But before he can continue his investigation, Willingham was ordered to deliver the fragment to a laboratory in Maryland. It is the last time he saw and heard about the mysterious metal. Soon after, Willingham received a threatening phone call, warning him not to reveal what he saw that day on the Mexican border. 20 years will pass before the pilot tells his story. What happened to that fragment? Who threatened Robert Willingham, and why he was so worried to get him silenced? Experts believe that for decades, the US military has been involved in a secret program of using alien artifacts in creating next-generation high-tech weapons.
How can we make an extremely light and malleable metal, but at the same time stronger than steel? Perhaps it existed in the future or on other planets, but once we got our hands on this technology, we had to be able to find out what it was for, and use our industrial and scientific knowledge to reproduce it. This is precisely the concept behind the reverse engineering.
Some think that an alien metal may have already been taken to the next level in military technology. Dalnogorsk, Russia, January 29, 1986. The inhabitants of the small mining town on the Pacific coast of the Soviet Union incredulously observed a reddish sphere that crossed the night sky before crashing into the mountain. A crowd of onlookers gathers at the site of the impact. They find a smoking crater, surrounded by a vast area, covered with a strange blackish material. A more careful analysis showed that this material contains strange metal spheres. Later was learned that they were made of lead, but of a different type from that known so far.
3 Soviet academic centers and 11 research institutes analyzed the objects of the crash site. The distance between the atoms of this material resulted different from that of common iron, and apparently radars were not able to detect it. If exposed to high temperatures, some elements disappeared in the material, and new ones appeared. One piece seemed to have disappeared into thin air, faced by 4 witnesses.
The CIA launched its own investigation into the Dalnogorsk incident. A declassified 1989 report states that Soviet scientists are convinced that the object was an extraterrestrial spacecraft built by beings of superior intelligence. In the chaotic years after the fall of the Soviet Union, some samples of the metal were taken out of the country secretly. Recently, the Langley Research Centers of NASA announced the development of metal alloys that, if struck by a bullet, close on its passage, and then heal, as if they were of living tissue. Is this new generation of NASA living metals the result of reverse engineering of alien technology discovered on sites like Del Rio and Dawnegorsk? What other effects on our future these elements could have? Many experts believe that the alien metals found on the crash sites have secretly undergone a reverse engineering process to create latest generation military technologies. But for every UFO crash discovered, how many will not be detected?